Hello, I'm Mimi. I'm a digital illustrator, and today I want to share with you some really realistic pros and cons of being a full-time artist and content creator working for myself. Since just because you love what you do, it doesn't mean that there aren't also downsides and challenges to it as well. This video is sponsored by Skillshare, but more on that later. So this video is about transparency. I'm certainly not complaining about this beautiful job that I have because I truly do love it and I feel so lucky that I get to do it. But I also feel a responsibility to show you the reality of what that actually looks like, rather than always saying it's just great, which it mostly is. I don't usually showcase the mess at my desk, the fact that I'm often wearing pajamas, the overwhelming days, the overcommitting to things, the mistakes, or the procrastinating. So if you're new here, I work as a picture book illustrator. I also make videos for this YouTube channel and I run a lovely Patreon community. Because for me to be a full-time artist with financial stability, I've chosen to also be a content creator and educator. I love all three of these roles, but the reality is that I effectively have 3 part-time jobs to juggle. So let me show you the upsides and the challenges of that, and maybe that will give you some insight into whether this job is something that you'd also like to do. People think it's lovely when I tell them I illustrate picture books or that I make YouTube videos, but sometimes I get the impression that a lot of people don't know what I actually do. And well, to be fair, I probably couldn't tell you what a lot of my friends and family do in their jobs either. You'd be forgiven for thinking that I just do a bit of filming here and there and then relax for the rest of the day with my colored pencils, watching movies, but in reality I'm mostly hunched over my computer from 5 o'clock in the morning, drawing as much as I can, writing a lot of YouTube scripts, and answering emails in my pajamas. One of the great things about my job is that I get to work whenever I want and I get to choose my hours. I work better in the morning, so I wake up early to maximize my morning time. The challenging side of that is that I'm fully accountable for when I get work done, so if I don't show up now, then I have to show up later, and it's all on me to sit down and focus. And sometimes it's hard to focus. Sometimes I'm really productive and get lots of work done in a short space of time, and I'm just in the zone, but sometimes I procrastinate a lot. Maybe I can't be bothered, I'm just not feeling it, or maybe it's a difficult task that I just don't want to face. So instead I go and make a cup of tea, go and pester my boyfriend who's probably editing one of my videos, watch TV, or find an excuse to go out and do something else entirely. I love that I get to work from wherever I want, and recently we moved out of the sweet house we were renting in Tasmania and are now digital nomads, which means that I have lots of freedom in where I work. The challenging part of that is that I don't have a set workspace anymore, and I'm always floating around to different desks trying to find a chair that's comfortable to sit in for 8 to 10 hours. This chair's too firm, this chair's too loungy. I am Goldilocks. Now, it's wonderful that I get to work close to nature with beautiful trees and animals often outside my window, and I know that it looks beautiful and peaceful because, well, it is. But the reality is that not everything in nature is pleasant to us humans, and there are so many mosquitoes where I live at the moment, but they don't look cute on camera, so I don't normally showcase them. Also, if you don't like snakes, then skip ahead 10 seconds. Just recently, we had a python literally climb up the side of the house and into the roof, which is really cool to see up close, but also obviously a bit unsettling and disruptive to my workday. A nice thing about working from home is that I have access to the kitchen and can cook myself some lunch or go to the fridge anytime for a snack. But the challenge is learning not to just go to the kitchen for a snack every 5 minutes when I'm procrastinating, which, to be honest, I'm still working on. And because I don't have a boss to report to, it means that I can have a really long lunch or watch an episode of a TV show on a little break. But if I'm tired, it's very tempting to spend all day on the couch binging a show. When you make your own schedule, then you know that nothing will happen if you do that. Nobody will tell you off or ask you if your work is done, but that's exactly the problem if you do it too often. Nothing will happen if you don't work on growing your business. It won't grow if you don't grow it, so that's a tricky balance to find. I've definitely had lazy TV days if I'm really not feeling productive, but they're more enjoyable if they're just very occasional. It's amazing that I can take a little bit of time off whenever I need to or want to, so if I want to spend the day out and about, then I can at any time, and bonus points if it's related to art because then I can kind of call it a field trip. The challenging side to that is that I can't take very much time off at once, or if I do, I have to work double time in advance just to get ahead enough on my tasks to be able to take a few days or a week off. Or maybe I just need to reduce my workload. It's wonderful to build a business from scratch and have full ownership of that, but I don't always tell you guys that the challenge for me has always been that I feel like if I'm not working on my business, then nobody else is going to, and it's not going to grow. So I feel pressure from myself to always be working on the business or my skills. That's not to say that I don't take time off, because I definitely do. But when I'm having a work day, I feel like I need to maximize that time because for a long time I felt the pressure of getting income streams set up as soon as possible so that I could live off of them. Then I become aware that I'm probably doing too much work, so I kind of get stuck in this cycle of feeling like I'm simultaneously working too much but also not enough because there's still so much to set up and work to be done. Running my own business means that I get to do as much as I want to all by myself. I don't have to report to a manager or do what someone else thinks that I should do. I do outsource my video editing to my boyfriend, who I'm very lucky is a fantastic video editor, so thank you to him for editing all of these videos for us. Pretty much everything else though is done by me at this point. The tricky thing about that is that it's a lot of work. I have to wear all of the hats in my business. I am the illustrator, accountant, head of marketing, copywriter, and social media manager all at once, which is sometimes a bit overwhelming. It is really cool though that I get to make all of the decisions in my business. The challenge is just that I have to make all of the decisions in my business. And a lot of those I don't share because they're tedious or confidential or just a bit boring. Do I want to accept this sponsorship opportunity? How much do I charge? Do I offer commissions? Which invoicing software do I use? How often should I post on YouTube? What do I want to write in my Instagram bio? Should I hire an accountant? Which accountant should I hire? The list of decisions is seemingly endless, and I'm responsible for all of them, which can lead to decision fatigue pretty fast. But I've learned to think less about my decisions and just do the research I need to do and make a logical decision based on that. Sometimes I get sent lovely things in the mail to try, like this cute box of snacks sent to me by Treats, which is really nice of them. It's full of international snacks to try, which is something that I am very happy to do. It's definitely a perk of my job. The only sort of downside is that I get a lot of really bizarre emails from people who claim to love my channel, wanting me to promote their products that have literally nothing to do with the kind of videos I make. I don't get it. Now, it's great that everything I do is fully remote and online, but the downside is that if the internet stops working or is really slow, like it has been a lot for us lately, then it means that I can't upload anything. Like that one time, the whole state of Tasmania where we lived got the internet cables from mainland Australia to the island literally cut by construction workers, and most of the state didn't have any internet or any service for a full afternoon. Since I don't work in an office, sometimes I get to listen to the lovely sounds of trees blowing in the wind and birds chirping, but sometimes it's airplanes, traffic, and lawnmowers. Just recently, I bought myself the most expensive pair of headphones I've ever bought because they have noise cancellation and they are so wonderful. I can just block out the noise of the world and focus whenever I need to, and they're already an amazing investment for how productive I am when I'm wearing them. They're a pretty big step up from the $35 running headphones I've been using, and honestly I didn't even know that they made headphones that expensive, but I'm just grateful that my business revenue allows me to reinvest into my business with nice things like this that help me to create more. Something that I do really love about my job is that I get to listen to podcasts while I'm drawing, and I listen to so many. The only real challenge to this is choosing a podcast and running out of podcasts to listen to. So please do leave your podcast recommendations in the comments if you have any good ones. Speaking of recommendations, I'd love to share with you the amazing resource that is today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. They're an online learning platform with so many great classes for creatives to help us navigate the challenges of being an artist. I know a big challenge for a lot of us is pricing our work, and this class by Jessie Ledoux called Pricing Your Work and Negotiating with Clients does exactly what it says and helps us understand the steps of negotiating with clients. It's a short, simple, no fluff class that gets straight to the point, and I thought it had some really helpful advice. To help you get started, the first 1,000 people to use the link in my description will get an entire 1-month free trial of Skillshare to watch all of the classes you want. And to help you get the maximum benefit from your free trial, I've personally curated a list of classes that I've watched and think are really helpful. If you're wanting to create more art, then I thought that these classes are really great to help you with that through different mediums or challenges. If you're wanting to learn digital art skills, then these classes are a great place to start. And if you're wanting to build your art income, then I thought that these classes had some really great foundations. Thanks so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to it. So something that I'm really pleased to have developed is a diverse set of income streams across several platforms. But it's definitely a challenge when it comes to payday because every platform pays out on a totally different schedule. Patreon pays me on a certain day at the start of the month, Etsy pays on the first Monday of the month, YouTube pays on a set day later in the month, picture book advances are one-off payments, affiliates pay when I reach a certain threshold, and quite frankly, it makes doing my finances a bit of a mess. The great thing about my income streams is that they're not directly tied to the hours that I work. So these days I can technically still be earning money passively if I have some time off, but the reality is that it isn't completely passive. I still have to create videos and resources to keep those income streams healthy. Plus, the challenge for the first 1.5 years or so of my business was that I worked part-time and then full-time on my business and hardly made any money while it got up and running, and that was quite tough when I didn't know if it was ever going to earn much money at all. There was a lot of uncertainty and maybe some healthy naivety and blind determination through that time. Now though, I do earn an income and I do about the same amount of work as I used to, but earn a lot more because my audience has grown. The earning potential is uncapped, which is really exciting, and I have different income streams that pay every month, but the challenging part of that is that my income isn't necessarily stable. Something pretty crazy would have to happen for my income to drop completely, but we've all learned in the past few years that crazy things can happen. Because though I've taken the longer, more sustainable path in my business of growing an audience and diverse income streams, my income graph for the recurring revenue streams is actually pretty consistent and really steadily increasing, so that gives me confidence. But at the end of the day, I don't have the same stability as a classic full-time employee. I take on the risk, but I also receive the reward. Now I get to see all of the analytics about my business growth, and it's exciting when things are trending upwards, but growth isn't linear and the reality is things often go down again after a boost. I probably don't showcase downward trends enough, maybe because they're not as fun, but it's super normal to have ups and downs. It's hard not to tie your value to the analytics, and it can feel disheartening to see graphs trending downwards, but that is the life cycle of growing a social media platform, and it's also normal for sales to be seasonal too. So it's super important to learn to not relate your value directly to your stats. Something that I do love about this job is that I get to share my journey with other creatives through these videos and social media. I love encouraging others and sharing my story to show you that it's possible to build a full-time income with your art skills. It can be difficult though to show up online all the time, especially because, believe it or not, I'm really quite a private person, so I don't know what I was thinking setting up a very public YouTube channel, but it just means that I have to make a conscious effort to balance how much I'm showing up online so that I don't burn out in that area. And actually, I think so far so good. And all of your positive comments and messages really motivate me to keep sharing. I love to engage with my community, and it's so lovely to see it growing across YouTube and Instagram, but there was definitely a tipping point where the amount of comments and messages I got outweighed how much time and energy I have to reply to everyone, so I just can't do that anymore. It's a shame because I wish I could respond to every single comment and message, because if someone takes the time to message me, I'd love to be able to reply, but sometimes I just can't get around to everyone. It's wonderful to hear your stories and read beautiful comments about what you think of my videos, but when you put yourself out there online, there will be negative comments sometimes. I'm actually really proud of the beautiful community that we have here on YouTube and also on my Instagram account, and I've been honestly so surprised at how few troll comments I get, so far at least. But trolls are an unfortunate inevitability of the online space, and sometimes they just say rude things. Mostly though, I don't pay them any attention because that's what they want, and their insults are usually silly or totally out of place anyway. It's empowering to have built my business to where it is and to have learnt how to do all of these new skills that I didn't have before, like negotiating fees and building websites, and it probably sometimes looks like I've got it all figured out, but to be totally honest, I'm just figuring it out as I go along. As I've gotten older, I've learned more and more that it always looks like other people know exactly what they're doing, but I can guarantee you that most people are just winging it, and I am no exception. I'm so lucky to get to illustrate children's picture books, but for me at least, that often comes with self-doubt. Like, you want me to illustrate a book that's going to be sold on bookshelves. Don't you want someone who illustrates cuter pictures to do that? I'm sure most illustrators feel a similar way at some point, and I guess I just wanted to tell you that I'm not immune to self-doubt, and you aren't alone if you've ever been surprised when someone asked you to illustrate something for them. Just remember that they asked you, and they want you to do it because they like your art. And perhaps the silliest challenge of my job is that I have a fantastic laptop that has been such a great investment, but it doesn't matter how many times I tell people what laptop I use, I still get people asking me what my laptop is in the comments of almost every video. Even on the video where I explicitly say what my laptop is and show what it does. So if you're wondering, my laptop is a Microsoft Surface Book 3, it's on my gear list and I love it. It's actually interesting being a PC user in a Mac world because I get asked pretty regularly why I don't use a Mac. And I don't know if I hear that many people ask Mac users why they don't use a PC. I just like this laptop and it just happens to not be a Mac. And I don't think Apple even makes a 2-in-1 laptop that I can also use as a drawing tablet anyway. It's cool if you like Apple better, I just like Windows and Android, which is probably the most controversial opinion you will find on this channel. Something that I've worked really hard on in this creative journey is building up my Patreon with lots of beginner-friendly resources for artists. So if you'd like some additional help on your creative journey, then consider joining my community over on Patreon, where you get access to my drawing tutorials, monthly illustration club, and lots of other goodies that I share each and every month. You can absolutely just join us for 1 month if you like, and the beautiful Bluebell tier gets access to everything, including a video lesson or drawing walkthrough video every month, plus access to all of the previous ones, so it's a really good deal in my slightly biased opinion. You can even browse the main articles and videos that are available before you join via the Patreon page on my website. I'll leave the links in the description below. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then I'd love if you could give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already for more art videos. See you in the next one. Bye bye!